Probably haven't seen these in a while. Just got the doors out of storage. I want to get these on the car as soon as I can, although on the flip side of this, on the interior, I want to paint it black. So let me flip it over. Here's what I need to do. Now the yellow portion here is looking great. It's all done. I just want to create a black portion right where the seal contacts the door. So my plan is not to run door panels on these doors. I think that these impressions or depressions, all the features on this door are actually really cool in my opinion. So I might be creating some interior panels here at the top, but I don't intend to cover all this up. I'm going to paint it black with a nice tape line right here and call it good. I'm going to be using the same mix of paint to match everything else in the car's interior.
Garage time.
Now back to sanding. Just got some 400 here and I'm just lightly taking off some of the dust nibs and some of the overspray where it kind of transitions, a little dry spray here in the edges. So I'm just going after that with 400 and then I'll come back probably either with some 600 or a Scotch-Brite pad. This gray color is the sealer and it's pretty thin, so I'm going through it in just a few places. But the sealer does reveal any sort of unsanded areas. I had sanded this prior, so it is in pretty good shape already. If you're wondering what this red dot is for, that is the original paint, and I think it'll make more sense once we get all the panels back on the car. The black line will be right here at the radius, so I need to be careful I don't sand too far into the yellow. It's about as far as I need to go with the 400. I was just really sanding out some dust nibs. This is like a hair or something right there. On the yellow, it's a little easier to see. There's really not much orange peel here. Just a couple areas where there's a little bit of fisheye kind of stuff, and I'm not too worried about that. I could continue to sand this down, but because this is going to be semi-gloss black, you're really not going to be able to see that kind of stuff. I didn't go through this level of sanding on the rest of the interior. Here you can just see a little bit of areas that weren't prepped perfectly for paint, but like I said, this is going to be fine. I'll need to get inside here with the Scotch-Brite pad just to make sure that the paint adheres well. That's one thing I learned on the trunk area. If you don't sand it correctly, the paint will not stay on there. Just a little bit of wax and grease remover. This is a stationary label, which is not really the right stuff, but I like the size here, so I'm going to cover this red up. Try to get it right where it was. Looks like I might not have enough tape left. Oh no. Ugh. Hey, I'm back with more tape. A lot of distractions today. It's a little high right here, but I'm going to leave it. It doesn't need to be perfect. You can see the line of demarcation now. I tried to keep it relatively in the middle of that radius, but it's not super even. It's the best I could do though. masking and taping and wrapping presents is not my superpower. So this will work, although I've realized I've already made a mistake. So what happens is I'm gonna paint this black, and these holes are gonna be open so black can go down inside the door. I want it to be completely blacked out. The problem is the paint can travel through the holes and get between the paper and the door, so that is not good. I need to tape up, like right here. This hole right here is a path for paint to go through the hole and onto the yellow. So I need to tape it from the backside. Unfortunately, I forgot about that. So I'm gonna do some taping here along the bottom. There's some drain holes. I need to tape those first. Okay, I used way more tape than necessary, but I had to rip open some areas and then tape it back up. So I'm all comfortable now with the holes being taped up against the yellow. And so hopefully no paint will get between the paper and the yellow. That's what I learned when I did the trunk area. I got some paint between there because I didn't tape a hole. This is the driver's door, and I'm gonna get started this time by taping all the holes before I even do some sanding, just so I don't forget. Okay, that's definitely a better method. Make sure everything's covered and then prep it for paint. Should be easier. Here's the driver's door now after the first sand with 400. This door, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, it has the impact bar on it. I left the impact bar in the driver's side just for a little bit of extra protection. And then if you remember, this door used to be Viper green. This is the final sand with this gray Scotch-Brite. I'm taking all the shiny areas off so we get good adhesion with the black paint. I think this is equivalent to like somewhere between 400 and 600 grit paper. It is pretty scratchy. You don't want to push down too hard either because these bars on the stand are contacting the door. So you don't want to dent the door by just pushing too hard. This is Rust-Oleum Professional Gloss Black, and I mix this 2-to-1 with the flat black, and that gives me the gloss level that I want, and it's going to match the rest of the interior. And then I don't have it out here on the table yet, but I put a hardener in as well, is some acetone to thin it out. That's my recipe, and I'm using it on the engine tins as well. You want it pretty thin to spray out in a nice, smooth way. So I think that's about right. It's 5-part paints, 2-part acetone. You can use any enamel hardener. This one is from Speed Coat, and I put about 3 capfuls of this. It doesn't take much. So I've let the dust settle in here without walking around or doing anything with it, too much. The door's closed and the air compressor over there is off. I don't want it turning on and blowing dirt everywhere. So there's plenty enough capacity in that tank to paint this door. Probably both doors and all the engine tin. Don't have to worry about air pressure.
It was a real light coat for the first time. I didn't want to go too heavy on that tape edge so it doesn't bleed through.
If you look right where the lights are, you can see a little bit of dust, but not bad at all. The gloss on this is going to get a little bit more flat as it cures.
This is the engine tin that I made, so probably gonna have to paint it in 2 different steps. I almost blew that one right off the edge of the table.
Yeah, this door's been sitting outside in the sunshine, so I'm going to take the tape off and hopefully the yellow's okay. It survived mostly. It's all in good shape. I'm pretty happy with the line. It came out nice and crisp, so I really like that. On this side, there's one little speck right here where a little black got underneath the tape, so that's just going to polish off. That's no big deal. And also down here, like I was saying earlier with the drain holes, this one was taped, but it wasn't taped close enough. So a little overspray got here on the inside of the door. This is no problem, a little rubbing compound. In fact, I'll go get some right now. We'll just wipe that off, polish it off. And all the yellow is in great shape. None of it came off with the tape or anything like that. So this overall was a big success. Yeah, so inside here, the coverage isn't that great. And I thought it was too difficult to try to spray in there. I could come back with a smaller spray gun and maybe do some more inside, but most likely I will just roll that on with something just to black it out. This is probably going to get some sound deadening on here too. I removed the stock sound deadening, so I'll probably put in some more modern materials in here just to quiet this, this panel down. There, that's done. The lack is already off. Okay, over here on the to-do list, I worked on, down here on the body, install the doors. And I'm not able to install them, but I'm that much closer to getting them installed. Still got the deck lid to do, the glass. The bumpers are partially installed on the rear, but I need to do more on the bumpers, and then the passenger seat mount is left for the body. So we're getting closer. A lot of things on the list have already been taken off. The engine items are mostly going to be finished once the engine's put back in the car. I did change the flywheel, that should be crossed off. Thank you everyone for rooting me on. I'm getting much closer. See you next week.